Hey guys, it is Andy, aka Elogee. It is the middle of winter, it's cold, it's snowy, it's time for a Magic the Gathering deck tech video. This is my very first standard legal deck. It is December 21st as of the day I'm recording this. I don't know when this video is going out. As of the time I'm recording this, the time I made the deck and everything, it's been in standard, so I'm very excited. This is my first ever standard deck. This is a snow deck. You may have seen the Kaldheim box opening video I uploaded a bit ago. I was looking for cards to complete this deck, and I didn't get everything from that box, but I did buy the rest of the singles I needed and was finally able to complete this deck. I originally made this deck on Magic Arena and liked it so much that I ported it over to IRL so I would have a standard legal deck, you know, in paper that I could use if I ever played a standard game. And even after it rotates out of standard, I still like the deck. I love the flavor of the snow theme, so this is just gonna be a, you know, a nice fun deck. But in standard right now, it's doing pretty well for me. There's some matchups that just auto loses to, but I really like it, so I'm gonna go over it today. If this video gets, let's say, 7 likes, I don't know, I'll make a video of me playing with this deck on Magic Arena so you can see how it plays. So, let me just go over the deck right now. Put this off screen so y'all don't see the cards as I'm trying to... What is this? Okay. So, to begin with the land base, I got 7 snow-covered forest. The entire deck is snow. All the land base is snow. I wish I knew that this snow had an owl in it. Like, for the longest time when I looked at this card, I just saw trees, but there's actually an owl in it. So I like this snow forest a lot better than this one. So I should just have 7 of that in here. But instead I got some of each. So that's that. That's my... the start to my mana base. I also have 7 snow-covered islands. These are all the same island, it looks like. I thought I had some of each, but I guess not. Anyway, the majority of the deck is green. That's why I have 7 forest. I also have 7 islands, although not as many blue sources in the deck. But I have 7 because there's a few 1-drop blue creatures that if I have one in my opening hand, I can play. I have a better chance of also getting an island and being able to play it first turn and curving out that way. To round out the basic lands, I also have 3 swamps, 3 snow-covered swamps. I only have 1 source of black in here, actually 2. I have 2 copies of 1 source and 3 copies of another semi-source. I'll explain when we get there, but I don't need much black, so I only have 3 basic swamps. However, when we get to the dual lands this deck has, I have 4 copies of Woodland Chasm, which provides green and black. Only problem is it comes into play tapped, so that kind of interferes with the deck somewhat. I have some ways of alleviating that, but yeah, 4 copies of Woodland Chasm, one of them foil because I pulled it from that Kaldheim box opening. So, and then only 3 Rimewood Falls, which provides green and blue. These are the ratios that worked for me, so that's what I've been going with. And for the most part, it works. Occasionally, if I keep drawing my tap lands, it's kind of hard to get, you know, to get started because you're not able to curve out the way you're supposed to. But ideally, you draw your plethora of basic lands, you know, opening hands, curve out, and then later in the game you can play your dual lands and whatnot. So that's how it's supposed to function. Altogether, there's 24 lands, all mana sources, no Faceless Haven. I just don't really like utility lands, I guess. I don't know. I prefer my land being a reliable source of mana, so that's why no Faceless Haven, despite, you know, the snow themes. So yep. And speaking of that blue 1-drop creature, here it is, Ascendant Spirit. I have 3 copies of it. Only 3 because I don't have a like a particularly high source of blue mana available, so if I want to play it turn 1, you know, I don't have the greatest opportunity to do that, so I only have 3 in here, but if I do draw opening hand and an island, I'm able to play it. It has additional value too, like you can pump snow mana into it to make it a 2/3, then a 4/4 with flying, then you can put 1/1 counters on it, and whenever it deals damage you draw, so it's very... This card has a lot of value in itself, but it also serves as a nice 1-drop 1/1 if I can get it, so... You know, Ascendant Spirit, very good card. That's why I got it here. Speaking of good value 1-drop cards, good God, here we got Blizzard Brawl, boys. This is what inspired me to make this deck, because I was looking at cards that I felt were way too... They did way too much for how little mana they asked for. And this was like at the top of the list. This just does so much for 1 mana. You need to have 3 snow permanents on the field, but that's such an arbitrarily low requirement, because you can just build your deck like this and have nothing but snow. Well, I have a few non-snow sources, but all my land is snow. Most of my creatures are snow, so that requirement is laughably easy to fulfill. So with that, you get a fight effect. Your creature gets +1/+1, and it gains indestructible until the end of the turn. So this is just crazy, crazy value for 1 mana. And, you know, that's why I wanted to make a snow deck to abuse this card, because I got tired of being abused by it. So, yeah, nothing else to really say about Blizzard Brawl. Now we get to one of my non-snow sources, Werewolf Pack Leader. This is a 2-drop, requires 2 green mana though, so a little wonky when it comes to my mana base, if I'm able to get this out when I should or not. It is a very good card, a 2-drop 3/3 with plenty of upside. You can pump 4 mana into it to get 5/3 and trample, but its main effect, if you attack with a total of 6 power or greater, you draw a card. So, like, if you have 2 of these and they both attack, both of their effects resolve, you draw 2 cards for free, no condition. So, it is a very good draw engine, in addition to just being great on the vanilla test. So, insane card. Probably going to be in most of my green decks if I continue to make green decks, because this is just a very good card. This is a deck that I'm going to want to be drawing a lot, because... well, you're going to see. Now we get another 2-drop. This is Sculptor of Winter, another snow permanent with 1 and a green, so a little easier to cast than the Pack Leader. And this also untaps a snow land I control. So one of these comes into play tapped, I can tap Sculptor of Winter, get it untapped. So it kind of fixes my mana a little. That's really all that's there for. I also have this bad boy to fix my mana, Prosperous Innkeeper. What this does is as soon as it hits the field, you get a treasure token. Treasure tokens, I personally feel, break the game. Providing you with a mana of any source just allows you to play cards much earlier than you should be able to. But in this deck, it allows me to fix for my tap lands that come into play. And it also has the upside of gaining me 1 life whenever I play a creature. And there's plenty of creatures in here, so that's why the Innkeeper's in here. Innkeeper's kind of infamous for decks relying on its life gain ability. Green-white decks that just like to gain life and get a bunch of 1/1 counters, but that's not, we're not doing that here. This is mostly for the treasure token, and the additional life gain is nice. So that's why the Innkeeper is in here. Now we get to this card. This is another banger, Ranger Class. Another big hitter from D&D, like Werewolf Pack Leader. This has so much value. When it enters the field, you get a wolf token, a 2/2 wolf token. So right off the bat, value. You can pump 2 more mana into it to get it to level 2, at which point whenever you attack, your creature gets a +1/+1 counter. So things get out of hand really fast with this card. Not just in this deck, but in general. If you're playing green and standard right now, you're running Ranger Class. That's almost a given. And its final ability, you can pump 4 mana into it to look at the top card of your library and cast creature spells from the top. Crazy effect. The main thing of this is to just generate those 1/1 counters with my attacking creatures. So yeah, that's what Ranger's class is doing there. Now here we get 3 copies of Jorn, God of Winter. And when I said there was a sub-source of black mana, it was actually the reverse side of Jorn. He has an artifact on the other side of him that you can play. The Rime Staff, which is nice versus some matchups. It allows you to cast creature spells from your graveyard by just tapping it. So, a nice effect, but I won't always have the black source needed to cast that, and nor will I always have the need to play it. So Jorn by itself is a very good creature in this deck, because whenever it attacks, you untap all your snow permanents. That includes creatures, including himself, and lands. So the value out of that, you can even untap, like if you have Jorn and a copy of the staff in play, it untaps the staff. So you can tap the staff, pull one of your creatures out of your graveyard, tap out, attack with Jorn, untap all your lands and the staff, can bring out another creature from the graveyard. It's just crazy what Jorn can do. Under the right conditions. It's not always going to be a big hitter, but for 3 mana, it's very nice for the deck. So that's why we got 3 Jorn. And now we get to 4 Spirit of the Aldergard, Big Boy Bear. This is a big hitter. When it enters the field, you can search your library for any snow land, put it in your hand for free, so nice value there. And it also gets +1 for each snow permanent you control, so this thing is very commonly going to be at 10 power or greater, just by the lands you're drawing with it and the other snow creatures I have in play. So unfortunately it doesn't gain toughness as well. That would probably be a little too broken, but overall a very, very solid card. That's why I got 4 in there. Now we're getting serious. We got 2 copies of Toski, Bear of Secrets. Let me tell you about this dummy squirrel here. This bad boy cannot be countered, is indestructible, can't be destroyed. It attacks each combat if able, which is a downside because you don't always want to be attacking with it. You'd rather just block with an indestructible creature. But whenever one of your creatures deals damage to your opponent, you get to draw for each creature that dealt the damage. So if you have like 5 creatures, they block 2 of them, 3 still get through, you draw 3 cards for free. This is utterly stupid value, under the right conditions. Just being able to constantly have a supply of creatures and cards and mana, that is how the deck is supposed to overwhelm the opponent and just kind of freeze everything, if you will, with a very, very oppressive winter, as you will. That might be what I call the deck. I don't think I have a name for the deck yet. Oppressive Winter sounds nice. I think I'm going to go with that if I remember. Yeah, Oppressive Winter, let's go. Anyway, now we get to 3 copies of Graven Lore, a card that Luke put me down with when we were playing on Arena a while back. That's on the channel. Graven Lore. Draw 3 cards, okay. Oh, and he still has so much mana left. How? How little does this cost? But it's a 5-drop instant where you can draw 3 cards. So you're paying 5 times the mana of Ancestral Recall. But this allows you to scry based on the amount of snow used to cast it. So all my lands are snow, so when I'm able to cast this, just immediately scry 5 and draw 3. So great card selection and card draw. Incredible effect. So I have 1, 2, 3 direct sources of card draw in here, and that's what provides me with the engine I need to, keep battering the opponent and just keep up the pressure. Now we got 2 copies of Blood on the Snow. This was another card that I looked at and it was just like, I couldn't believe how much it did for how little mana it costs. Like 6 is a lot of mana, and even the 2 black sources is a little restrictive in this deck, but the value it provides, being able to, like, there's you have the option to kill all planeswalkers, which this deck has none, but you also have the option to destroy all creatures. So if the opponent is, you know, tons of creatures flooding the field, you can destroy all of them, which would be great in itself, but it has a secondary effect where you can return a creature or planeswalker to the battlefield. Again, I don't have any planeswalkers, but being able to return any creature, because this costs 6 mana, so it's the top curve of my deck. So, well, that's a lie, there's a couple more cards, but basically the top curve of my deck. So you're allowed to play a card with converted mana cost equal to or less than the amount of snow mana used to cast it. So it's always going to be 6 snow source mana spent on it. So I'm always going to be able to play any of my big creatures here. The only creatures left in the deck, the final cards remaining in the deck that I won't be able to play through Blood on the Snow, is this bad boy. Icebreaker Kraken. A 12 mana 8/8, but it reduces its own cost for each snow land I control. Not permanent land. So a little less aggressive of a snow reliant effect than like Spirit of the Aldergard or Jorn or whatever, but still very nice way to you know, decrease the cost of this crazy card. When it enters the battlefield, artifacts and creatures the opponent control. I forgot it affected artifacts too. It doesn't really come up much in standard right now, but creatures and artifacts that are tapped that the opponent controls don't untap during their untap step. So if you have multiple of these, you can just keep playing them. You can return it to your hand by sacrificing some lands. So it isn't even sacrifice, is it? Yeah, you return the lands to your hand. So you can like effectively keep your opponent in a loop with your Krakens, keeping their creatures tapped. So altogether, this deck is trying to overrun the opponent with this beautiful snow theme. I don't know if you guys know, but I love snow. I love the winter. I love the cold. And I love this deck. So that is the deck. That is, what did I call it? I forget the name already, bro. No, but I got it documented in here, so I'll have it written down. I'll definitely change the name to whatever I said. But hope you guys enjoyed this first standard deck. Even when this rotates out, I'm going to have fun with this. Might be able to change it a little when we move over to modern, but I really like it. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to see me use it in action, be sure to leave a like. I forget what number. I think I said 7. If you get 7 likes, I'll do a video of me playing with it on Arena. But till then, thank you guys for watching. Be on the lookout for some more Magic content, because I'm really enjoying Magic right now. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and have a good day, guys.